Mrs. T.F. Shuey and her daughter Catherine pose for a glass negative portrait in the 1890s, with her son appearing in at least one exposure. The photographs document middle-class Victorian family life and domestic portraiture practices. Marilyn Monroe poses with Chicago White Sox players Joe Dobson Edward, Erot Gus Zernial, and Hank Majeski in March 1951 for team publicity. Monroe's glamour elevated the player's public image during baseball's golden age. Special effects technicians work on creature designs for the 1954 science fiction film, Them, depicting giant irradiated ants. The practical effects achieved innovative craftsmanship. The film became a landmark achievement in creature design for monster cinema. Mary Ann Persinger performed in American sideshows as a hirsute woman growing a 14-inch beard from 1855 or 1858 until 1912. She was known for kindness and sympathy toward audiences. She outlasted most contemporaries in the sideshow profession. Betty Grable poses for a publicity photograph in 1943 during her career as Hollywood's premier musical star and dancer. She represents wartime entertainment glamour. Her image became synonymous with American servicemen's morale during World War II. Marilyn Monroe and Arthur Miller are photographed at Queensboro Bridge in New York by Look magazine in 1957 during their marriage. The image captures their relationship at its height. Monroe's public persona contrasted sharply with increasingly private personal life. Mary Ann Persinger stands for a portrait in the late 1940s, representing a significant era in Hollywood's golden age entertainment. Her career flourished during this period. The photograph documents one of cinema's most iconic, recognizable figures. An East German woman aims a KK-MP 69 training rifle at a Free German Youth Defense Camp in 1973 or 1974. Mandatory military training was standard practice. The German Democratic Republic emphasized youth participation in state-sponsored armed preparation. Rita Renoir, the French burlesque performer and actress, is photographed by Serge Jacques in the early 1960s during her career. She flourished in post-war Paris cabaret. The image captures the glamour and spectacle of European performance. A child demonstrates the popular 1920s dance move called walking the dog, which required complex footwork and significant skill. The dance demanded coordination and timing. It represented youth culture and evolving social attitudes toward entertainment. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is attacked while marching non-violently for the Chicago Freedom Movement in 1966 by police. Violence met peaceful protest repeatedly. His commitment to nonviolence persisted despite physical assault during civil rights demonstrations. Japanese-trained Manchukuo Army recruits fire rifles at practice before deployment to the Siberian border in July 1945. The war was ending rapidly. Most soldiers faced Soviet forces in the conflict's final weeks. Soldiers from the Austro-Hungarian Infanterie Regiment, Erzherzog Rainer, NR 59 pose for a military photograph during World War I service. The regiment served the Austro-Hungarian Empire extensively. Few soldiers in this image likely survived the devastating conflict. A Palestinian leader greets Muslim Bosnian volunteers with a Nazi salute during World War II in a controversial moment. The image documents complex wartime alliances. It illustrates geopolitical complications of the Second World War. Louisa Madame Lou Bunch operated Colorado's most successful brothel in the gold rush town of Central City from 1857 to 1935. She was known for kindness and generosity. During epidemics, she and her workers provided nursing care. An English mixed couple poses with their young child in the 1950s, documenting interracial family life during an era of segregation. The photograph is historically significant. It records personal relationships across racial boundaries during strict social restriction. The Lethosser family home and farm are documented in photographs taken circa early 1900s in Sherwood, Ohio. The images preserve architectural details and rural life. Farm domestic arrangements are captured for historical record preservation. Mexican and indigenous Pueblo warriors killed territorial Governor Charles Bent and 5 others in a revolt against American rule on January 19, 1847, in Taos. Theodore Roosevelt remains the only sitting or former U.S. president to lose a child in combat during military service. His son Quentin Roosevelt was shot down in July 1918. Some historians suggest Roosevelt died of grief. President John F. Kennedy and First Lady Jackie are photographed in their Georgetown home on the evening of their pre-inaugural gala January 1961. Japanese ultranationalist Atoya Yamaguchi assassinated Socialist Party leader Inajiro Asanuma on October 12, 1960, in a shocking moment. The photograph won World Press Photo of the Year and the 1961 Pulitzer Prize. Yamaguchi later committed suicide. Federico Fellini, the influential Italian film director and screenwriter, was born in Rimini on January 20, 1920. He became cinema's greatest visionary. His surrealist films redefined modern filmmaking and influenced generations of directors worldwide. A woman prepares for swimming activities in the 1980s, representing leisure culture and casual domestic life of the era. The photograph captures everyday American recreational practices. It documents the decade's approach to personal recreation. Joseph Taborski hugs his mother after exoneration from death row in Connecticut in 1955 after 4 years imprisoned. Just over 1 year later, Taborski murdered 5 people and was executed in 1960. The reversal remains historically significant. On January 19, 1953, nearly 70% of American television sets tune to "I Love Lucy" as Lucy Ricardo gave birth. Lucille Ball herself gave birth by cesarean section that same day to a baby boy. The coincidence became television history. Ava Gardner and Humphrey Bogart appear together in director Joe Mankiewicz's film, The Barefoot Contessa, from 1954 for United Artists. The film represented Golden Age cinema craftsmanship. Both actors brought substantial dramatic talent to the production. General Humberto Delgado campaigns for Portuguese presidency on May 14, 1958, with strong popular support, particularly in Porto. His candidacy challenged the Estado Novo regime actively. The election campaign represented significant political ferment in Portuguese society. Helen Henderson poses for photographer Alfred Cheney Johnston in 1921, capturing the glamour of silent film-era portraiture. Johnston specialized in celebrity photography work. The image represents professional studio photography of entertainment personalities. Mary Ann Hawkins surfs flooded streets in Long Beach, California in the 1940s during municipal flooding. The image documents adaptation to natural disaster. It captures resourceful recreation during unexpected environmental circumstances. The Chevrolet Corvette is unveiled at General Motors Motorama Auto Show at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel on January 17, 1953. The sports car became an American cultural icon. The Corvette's introduction marked a significant automotive design moment. Arnold Schwarzenegger walks down a California street with his best friend Franco Columbu in the late 1970s. Both were competitive bodybuilders actively. The photograph documents friendship between two influential figures in bodybuilding culture. Robert Wadlow, the tallest human ever recorded at 8 feet 11 inches, stands with his parents and siblings in 1935. He died at age 22 from acromegaly. His extraordinary height resulted from hormone production abnormality. Ho Chi Minh stands third from the left among American OSS agents in 1945 during collaborative operations. He worked with American forces against Japanese occupation. This alliance proved temporary before post-war conflict emerged. Martin Luther King Jr. and his son remove a charred cross from their yard in the United States in 1960. The cross burning represented racial violence and terrorism. The photograph documents the impact on American families. A young girl poses as a cowgirl with her pony in a studio portrait circa 1940s. The photograph captures childhood imagination and play. It represents rural American themes popular in wartime domestic culture. Albury Street in Dipford, London, England, is documented photographically in 1911, preserving urban streetscape and architectural details. The photograph records neighborhood geography of the period. Edwardian London's working-class streets are documented for preservation. Japanese Prime Minister Hideki Tojo, seated center in a gray suit, attends a sumo wrestling tournament in 1942. The image captures wartime leisure and culture. Tojo oversaw Japan's military operations during the Pacific War. Child actress Shirley Temple takes a filming break in 1936 during a busy day of production work on set. She starred in Heidi and The Little Princess. Temple began her entertainment career at age 3. The John W. Kern home in Portland, Oregon, built in 1892, is documented before its demolition in 1949. The photograph preserves architectural heritage and history. It records a residence spanning the city's development from Victorian eras. Albury Street in Portsmouth, Hampshire, England, is photographed in 1890, documenting Victorian urban streetscape and architectural character details. The image preserves neighborhood details and working-class areas. Urba. N documentation records historical neighborhood development. American sugar planters led by Sanford Ballard Dole overthrow Hawaiian Queen Liliuokalani on January 17, 1893, in a coup. Dole became provisional president of Hawaii. The overthrow established American governmental control over the Hawaiian Islands. Iraqi soldiers pose for a portrait with Ayatollah Khomeini in 1988 during the Iran-Iraq War conflict. The photograph documents military and religious leadership intersection. It captures the integration of military and spiritual authority. Two well-dressed gentlemen and their dapper dog pose together in Stockholm, Sweden, circa 1880s in a formal photograph. The photograph captures Victorian-era fashion and social customs. It documents the status of pets in upper-class society. A Chinese mother sits with her daughters and son in Michigan in 1901, documenting Asian immigrant family life. The photograph captures domestic arrangement and family structure. It records Chinese-American family organization during early immigration. The final photograph of Franklin Delano Roosevelt is taken one day before his death on April 11, 1945. The image documents his physical condition at the end. It represents the last visual record of his life. Glass negatives document tattoo designs by Sutherland MacDonald in London in 1905, preserving early 20th century tattoo artistry. MacDonald was a pioneering tattoo artist working professionally. The negatives document the evolution of professional design. Glasgow shoppers queue at an Argyle Street grocery for sugar in August 1974, following commodity shortages. Post-rationing supply disruptions affected British citizens. The photograph documents consumer behavior during economic constraint periods. The mother of a Tiananmen Square student protester begs a young soldier to turn back in Beijing in 1989. The image captures human emotion during political crisis. It documents the personal dimension of democratic uprising. An Iraqi girl kisses her father as he departs for the Iran-Iraq War in 1980. The photograph captures wartime family separation painfully. It documents the personal cost of military conflict on populations. A woman confronts a man about legal violation in a humorous domestic scene documented photographically. The image captures interpersonal conflict and social regulation. It represents humor in everyday legal and behavioral disputes. A grandfather sits in a wagon pulled by a rooster in Joshua, Texas in 1910 in an unusual scene. The photograph documents rural transportation improvisation creatively. It captures unconventional animal husbandry and frontier community humor. A 500-year-old redwood tree is felled using hand tools, documenting logging practices and environmental impact clearly. The image records forest management practices of the era. It represents conservation concerns about old-growth timber removal. Gene Simmons portrays young Estella in David Lean's Great Expectations in 1946, adapting Dickens's classic novel. The film brought the narrative to cinema. Simmons's performance captured the character's complexity and emotional depth. Actress Theda Bara wears a famous risque costume in a promotional still from the 1917 film Cleopatra. The film has since been lost to history. Bara pioneered exotic and controversial costume design for cinema. Lewis Hine traveled across the United States from 1908 to the early 1920s photographing children, laboring in mines, mills, and factories. His images exposed child labor's harsh realities powerfully. Hine's documentation drove public awareness and legislative reform. American 11-kilogram parachute bombs fall on a Filipino village occupied by Japanese troops in January 1945. The photograph documents aerial bombardment during Pacific conflict. It records the final months of Japanese occupation. Gloria Swanson portrays Norma Desmond in Billy Wilder's Sunset Boulevard from 1950 for Paramount Pictures. The film became a Hollywood classic. Swanson's performance captured silent film era nostalgia and psychological decline. Historic Urry House at 8403 Pine Road in Philadelphia was erected by early settlers before William Penn arrived. The Crawford family owned it from 1814 to 1945 before demolition. The structure originally contained 23 rooms total. A 19-year-old woman is photographed in Manhattan, New York in May 1943 during wartime. The photograph captures domestic life and family memory. It documents a family member during the middle of World War II. Members of Southern Pacific's Sacramento clerical staff pose with newly constructed 482 locomotive number 40-328 in 1925. The photograph documents railroad employees and equipment. It records industrial progress and workplace culture of railroads. Mexican Revolution leaders Alvaro Obregón and Pancho Villa stand alongside U.S. Army General John J. Pershing in 1914. The photograph documents diplomatic interaction during Revolutionary period. It represents American military involvement in Mexican affairs. Naval officers work in their dugout at W Beach, Cape Hells during the Gallipoli campaign in December 1915. The photograph documents wartime conditions and trench life. It records the harsh realities of First World War combat. Carmen Miranda poses with her platform shoes collection in Los Angeles in 1944 for Vanity Fair magazine. Miranda was famous for elaborate headdresses and costumes. The photograph captures her iconic performance aesthetic and style. Argentine President Marcelo T. Alvear poses at the beach in 1927, documenting presidential leisure and informal portraiture. The photograph captures political leadership in relaxed settings. It records a president's public image during his term. Car thief Martin J. Durkin is captured near St. Louis, Missouri on January 20, 1926, after nationwide manhunt. He had killed FBI agent Edwin C. Shanahan in Chicago. The capture concluded a significant federal investigation. An older lady dressed in up-to-date 1923 fashion is captured in an autochrome photograph in Germany. The color photography technique preserved fashion details clearly. It documents contemporary women's style and fabric choices. Su Ngu Wang marries American missionary and teacher Francis Lister Hawks Pot in August 1888 in a wedding photograph. The marriage represented cross-cultural union during the late 19th century. It documents American missionary activities in regions.